All right, looks like we are going. Looks like we were going for about 10 seconds there. We have a heck of a delay in this system for some reason. But anyway, we are back. Tonight's live stream. Going to be talking about 3 mindset flaws that can potentially hold anybody back. And let's just jump right into it. The first mindset flaw is a feeling of wanting to stay stuck in your comfort zone. The feeling that can be telling you, this is good enough. Right where I'm at right now is good enough. It's a great place to be. So why not just hang out and stay stuck here for about 10 or 15 years, I mean, there's one thing to be said for being content at the end of the day with, what the universe has given you, what you've managed to accomplish, and just saying to yourself, what I did for today, that was good enough. We'll try to do better tomorrow, but, today's done with, it was good enough, and I'm happy with it. And that's a good attitude to have. That's a good attitude of just being grateful and just feeling appreciative for what you were able to accomplish in your day-to-day activity. But when you start carrying this attitude across more long-term, like, generating $20,000 a year for 10 years ago was fine for 10 years ago, so it should be good enough for today, right? And if you know anybody that's been living on a fixed income for 10, 15 years, or if you yourself, maybe you've been stuck for some reason, you haven't been able to raise your income for about 10 or 15 years, you know that maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, maybe on that income you were able to eat beef. And then 5 years later, you were eating chicken and pork. And now maybe today it's rice and beans because that's all you can afford. The way inflation is going, the way it has been going, if you're not working on increasing your income, on a monthly basis, I would say, definitely on a yearly basis, you're falling behind. There's no such thing as staying put economically. You're either growing or you're declining. And that idea of just staying stuck in a comfort zone, telling yourself, what, this job that I have right now, this income that I have right now, it's good enough for now. That's a good attitude to have. But to tell yourself, this is good enough for this year and next year and the year after that and the year after that, then it becomes the attitude of wanting to stay stuck in your comfort zone, not really wanting to move ahead, not pushing ahead, and that will keep you stuck. It will have you falling behind. And yeah, if you're not wanting to increase your income on a regular basis, if you're not growing your income, you're going to be in a position where you're going to be falling behind. So yeah, wanting to grow an income, some people think that's being greedy. Some people think that's being selfish. But I mean, the way things are right now, that's just wanting to progress. It's just wanting to keep up with inflation, just wanting to keep up with things. But yeah, wanting to stay stuck in your comfort zone by just telling yourself, this is good enough just the way it is, that is a mindset that can keep you stuck right where you're at. And where you're at right now might be comfortable, but think about staying stuck there for the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Yeah, you're really going to be hurting. The way the world is changing, the way inflation is just eating away at the value of the dollar and eating away at your savings accounts. So yeah, staying stuck in the comfort zone, not a good place to be long term. The next thing that can really hold people back in their mindset, and I count this as a real mindset flaw, the feeling that, it's either this or that. and setting up what I'm going to call just a false either or way of thinking. And the way this can manifest is people can think, I can either be deeply spiritual or I can be wealthy. And a lot of people will get into this mindset quite unaware. They will be thinking, I can either be a spiritual person or I can be a rich person. And they won't challenge that mindset by thinking, hey, why not have the complete package? Why not do both? Why not be a deeply spiritual person and a wealthy person? In my own case, at the tender age of, I don't know, in my teens somewhere, even preteens, I got the idea in my head that I wanted to become a priest and I wanted to become a minister of some sort. And I had this attitude in my mind back when I was growing up. The priests in my particular denomination, they made $400 a month. And I just made up my mind, I want to be deeply spiritual. I want to do this. So the idea of living on $400 a month really didn't faze me. It was just one of the things I thought I had to do. And then I got interested in married life, got interested in wanting to have a family, and began to realize I really had to set my sights higher economically if I wanted to be able to support a family. And then I began to realize, you know what? You don't have to be poor in order to be spiritual. You can be spiritual. You can also be wealthy. And I had a teacher in graduate school that really challenged me on this. And he was telling us, look at some of the great people of the Old Testament. Abraham is a notable one that really sticks out in this regard. A person that was recognized as being deeply spiritual, a man who walked with God as a friend, as two friends walk with another. That's the way the book of Genesis describes Abraham walking with God. Deeply spiritual, as if he was walking with God in the flesh. He was also a very wealthy man. He had flocks, he had money, he had resources. And this guy was deeply spiritual. He was also very, very wealthy. In the Hindu tradition, we've got Sri Krishna, the incarnation of Vishnu. And he was a great warrior. He was a great lover. He was a great hero. He was also a great teacher, deeply spiritual and wealthy. He had his own palace, his own kingdom, and he had the whole package. So when people think in terms of a false either or type of situation in which, I can either be ethical or I can be rich, or I can either be spiritual or I can be rich, why not go for all? Why set it up as an either or type of a situation? Why not try to get it all? Be ethical and be wealthy. Be spiritual and be wealthy. There's no rule that says you have to be a scoundrel in order to achieve riches. Some people are scoundrels and they are wealthy too, but you don't have to equate the two falsely. There are also some ethical people that build up fortunes and they do it ethically. They don't make the front page of the newspaper, but they do it. They are out there. You can find these people. You can network with these people. So yeah, don't set yourself up in a false either or type of a mindset, thinking that, I can either do this or I can do that. Why not have a both and attitude rather than either or? Say, you know what? Why don't I try to do both? Why don't I go for the complete package and see how that goes? So yeah, that's That's the second mindset flaw that can keep people broke. Is the idea that, you know what, I don't want to be a scoundrel, so I guess I'm just going to be poor for the rest of my life, or just be scratching by for the rest of my life. You don't have to set yourself up for that kind of a lifestyle. And the last mindset flaw that I'm going to talk about is the attitude that this is impossible for me to achieve. One of the guys that I like to listen to, or well, he's been dead now for a long time, but I like reading his works. I like reading his quotes, but Bruce Lee. And he had a saying that when you say that something is impossible, you have just made it impossible. And that is a mindset flaw that many people set themselves up for subconsciously. They can think that, it's impossible for me to do this. And the minute you say it's impossible for you, you have just made it impossible for yourself. This morning, in our Think and Grow Rich mastermind call that we do by phone, we had a guy that was doing a reading, and it was reading the definite major purpose. It's kind of a mindset thing that we do, in which we read out what our definite purpose is, and people are invited to share. And this one guy was sharing, my major definite purpose was to accumulate $1 billion. $1 billion, that's a billion with a B. And I heard that and I thought, okay, I'm used to hearing people say, I want to become a millionaire. I want to get $1 million by such and such a date. And this guy was saying, I want to get $1 billion by such and such a date. And I still have a little bit of a skeptic in me that I have to deal with from time to time. And that skeptic reared its head during that audio call. And I thought, yeah, $1 billion, let's get real. And then I remembered Bruce Lee. He was, back in the 60s, a student of Napoleon Hill. The Think and Grow Rich mastermind call that we do, that is based a lot on the works of Napoleon Hill. And what did Bruce Lee set his goal at, one of his financial goals at, in the 1960s? He wanted to earn $1 million. That was one of his goals. He wanted to have $1 million in his bank account. He wanted to be one of the top paid Asian actors in the United States. And he set up his goal. He said, I will have $1 million in my hands by such and such a date. I will achieve this other goal by such and such a date. And you know what? He made it. But then I got to thinking, if Bruce Lee could do that in the 1960s, what would $1 million be from the 1960s, adjusted for inflation, today in 2023? Probably we'd be looking at more or less $1 billion. Today's billionaires are yesterday's millionaires, adjusted for inflation. So yeah, if Bruce Lee could just come up from dirt poor to becoming a millionaire in the 1960s, well, why can't people today set their goal at becoming a billionaire in 2023? It's not any more laughable. And I mean, the limits are really in your mind and in your imagination. And the minute you say that something is impossible, you're telling your mind, you're telling your imagination, don't go there, don't dream about this. Yeah, maybe you can daydream about it half-heartedly, but don't actually go out there and try to do anything, because this is impossible. We've set the limit. This is impossible. Don't go there. And yeah, when we say that something is impossible, we make it impossible for ourselves. So a better mindset to have is to just, when you think that something is impossible for you to accomplish, think of other people throughout history that have been in either a similar situation as yourself or even in a worse situation, and people that have achieved the greatness that you would like to see for yourself. And just ask yourself, how did they do that? Were they better people than I am? Were they a better person than I am? Were they more imaginative than I am? Or did they just have a different way of thinking? And how can I adjust my thinking so that I can attain these goals for myself? So yeah, 3 mindset flaws. Wanting to stay stuck in your own comfort zone, that will keep you stuck in a place that might seem comfortable right now, but imagine staying there for another 10 years. It's not going to be comfortable for very long. Either or thinking, false either or thinking rather than both and thinking, and the thinking that this is impossible for me to accomplish. Well, why is it impossible for you to accomplish? Why not? Why not go for it? Why not find a way to make it possible? Now, a way that we can overcome a lot of these mindset flaws and other thinking flaws is to just go out and network with people who have accomplished what we want to accomplish in our lives. And this may seem kind of challenging, but there actually is a rather easy way that anybody can begin networking with people who are like 7-figure earners. And even above that, we have a free resource that I'm going to share right now once I find the link. Here we go. This is a mastermind call that I participate in, that I listen in on and grow with. But it's the Grow Rich Mastermind Call. And you go to my link here, ralphshomebiz.com/growrich. You can tune into this call live every morning, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And if you can't make the live call, you can access the recorded call 24 hours a day. You can access the latest recording and just listen into it. But if you go to that link, you will get access to the call. You will also get access to the books that we use during this Grow Rich call. Books like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill in PDF format. Books like The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles in PDF format. Books like The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill in PDF format. And a lot of other material too that we use in PDF format. So if you're on a limited budget right now, if you think that you're too broke to go out and buy these books, either on Kindle or in paperback or hardcover, you can access these PDF documents absolutely free. You can participate in the call absolutely free. And if you don't have the time to access the call, if you got a full-time job and your schedule is such that you can't make the call live Monday through Friday, you can tune in to the recording anytime, night or day, 24 hours a day, and just listen in to this call. And every day, we have a different person hosting the call. And these are people, none of them, to the best of my knowledge, was born wealthy. Most of these guys, from what they've been sharing about their background, they came up in humble circumstances. They were challenged economically, and they figured out a way to achieve their financial goals. And they share their experience, their strength, and their hope with the newcomers coming into the group. And people are encouraged to listen in, read along with us, share briefly their stories if they wish, and just grow with the call. This call has been going on since 2011, so it's definitely a long-term program, and it's free. You know, you can join in free, get access to the books free, and I mean, this is a great way to just hang out with seven-figure earners, folks that weren't always seven-figure earners, but folks who figured out a path forward for themselves, and they share their experiences to help you find your own way in life. So if you really want to grow $1 million income, $1 billion income, or find abundance in some other way, you know, grow spiritually, grow in your health. We've had people that use the Grow Rich Mastermind call to lose weight, to develop the determination to exercise on a regular basis. So yeah, you can become more prosperous in a multitude of different ways using the principles that they teach in this call. And it's yours as our free gift. So yeah, just go there, ralphshomebizz.com/growrich. You can have this resource as our free gift. So yeah, hope to see you there. So anyway, that's our live stream for today. Just watch out for these mindset flaws, and there are many other mindset flaws too that we can fall into. There are a lot of different traps, but the easiest way, the most effective way that I know to work your way out of stinking thinking in a mindset of poverty is to just begin to network with top earners who are willing to share with you some of their tricks, some of their secrets, and do reading. Do some great spiritual reading. Books like Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, or The Laws of Success. Books like The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace D. Wattles. Today in the Grow Rich call, we were reading from Ralph Waldo Emerson, an essay he wrote on, what was the name? I forget the name now, but yeah, it was a good essay. I can't remember. Compensation, an essay on compensation. And I think we'll be going through that again tomorrow. But yeah, tune in, grow with us, and see if it works for you. So yeah, that's a live stream for tonight. Tomorrow, I'm not exactly sure what we'll be talking about, but thanks for dropping by. And if you would like to share some of your personal story, put it down in the comments down below, and be happy to read, reply back, and just hang out with you online. So until later, this is Ralph signing out. Thanks for dropping by. Catch you in future streams, my friends. Have a great night.